on blast.
And we are live.
Yes, sir.
I almost just knocked down the picture behind me, but we are live on the Wrap It Up podcast.
Yes, sir.
My name is Sheldon Alexander. Thank you for joining me. If you're on Twitter, shout out to you at Shell Alexander. If you're there right now, click on the picture, the video, you'll get to another page. And in that Periscope feed, you can join in, ask questions, send us your comments.
Yes.
We're also on Instagram, but, you know, there's feeds, there's options. Because we're trying to just hit the people. We want to bring in the Raptors fans to talk. Because you know why? The Raptors are hot right now.
Super hot.
Red hot right now.
Yes, spicy.
I'm joined by my guy, Beals. Beals, what's good, man? How you doing?
Much, man. I'm good, baby. I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. Good to see you again, brother.
And we are blessed to have you back on the Wrap It Up podcast as the Toronto Raptors improve to 12-1.
12-1, man.
Real
Making
life.
it hot, baby.
Real life,
Making it
baby.
hot,
Raptors are 12-1 after a 128-112 victory over the New York Knicks. Again, my name is Sheldon Alexander, and this is the Wrap It Up podcast, the Raps post-game show.
Exactly.
Shouts to all the people that will be joining us on the live streams on Twitter and on Instagram.
Yes,
and
yes,
if
yes,
not,
yes.
as always, we got you covered because this becomes a podcast.
Exactly.
Which you can find on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on Google Play by searching On Blast Podcast. And then we got to show some real love to the YouTube people.
No doubt.
The YouTube people are doing it big right now. So shout out to the people that will be watching this later on YouTube.
Exactly.
As I will say, this week has been big. Over 10,000 views on YouTube this week for our rap shows.
Exactly.
And the Ball on Blast podcast.
Exactly.
Speaking of, my guy Andrew Webster, who co-hosts the Ball on Blast podcast with me, happens to be in Philadelphia right now at a bachelor party. I'll be trying to track him down somehow. Although that might be tough.
We're going to try. We're going to try at least.
Obviously, big news in Philly as they have added Jimmy Butler. We will get to that, of course.
Jeez.
But we got to get to the meat of why we're here, which is your Toronto Raptors having another win.
Exactly.
So we'll start off there. And, you know, I guess the best thing to say is they came off their best winning streak on a road trip, their best road trip, franchise history. And now you come into this game at 3 o'clock.
Nasty.
Fresh off the road trip.
Nasty.
In any way, shape, or form, were you worried about the Raptors heading into this game just because it's the first game back off the road trip and the time difference? Were you worried at all?
Nah, I wasn't worried, man. It's the Knicks, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's the NBA. Any team can give you a little bit of a scare, but not the Knicks, man. We had it and we got the victory.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those things where they came out sluggish, which you can't really blame them for, right? Your body still hasn't fully adjusted.
Exactly.
And now a 3 o'clock game is weird enough because that never happens.
It never happens. On a Saturday.
On a Saturday.
Maybe on a Sunday, not a Saturday, though, right?
But your body's still feeling like it's noon, so your clock of waking up and everything, not good.
It's just different.
Raps actually started the game 1 for 7 with like 5 turnovers early. And then to me, there was a play that kind of changed it where Pascal went up for a huge dunk and he missed the dunk.
Yeah.
But I just feel like that kind of brought a little bit of energy to this game. And then really things picked up with the bench. How important, we saw it today, because to me, the bench changed everything. And we finally got to see some form of what the bench mob is going to be, because it was the full roster of Freddie, OG, DeLon, CJ, and JV.
Right.
How important, like we know what the starters can do, but again, how important are the bench mob to what this team can do long term?
The bench mob is very important. It was important last year. Excuse me. That's why they got to where they got to in the playoffs. We don't have the bench. We don't get as far as we get in the playoffs last year without the bench mob. That's obvious, right?
Yeah.
So this year, our bench mob got a lot better. Mainly starting with Pascal and OG.
Yeah.
Those two had to improve, and they got a lot better. Like I said, man, I'm impressed. Pascal's my guy. I'm speechless when it comes to him, just how much better he got.
And it's funny, you mentioned that, you mentioned Pascal and OG had to improve. And it's funny because they kind of just swapped spots, right? Because OG was the starter last year, and now it's kind of flip-flopped.
Exactly.
And, you know, there's a lot of different reasons. You're adding different positional guys,
matchups
and all that. But you're right. The development of these guys, and I'm going to the Instagram feed right now because there's someone who agrees with something that you said very early, Beals. I'm trying to pronounce the name, but I don't want to mess it up. But it's like Nah,
just not.
Yeah, just not. We'll start there.
What up?
But it says Pascal All-Star?
Question mark? Man, I told you.
Beals, you were probably on like the first episode we did.
First episode, I said it. If he can get the playing time,
yeah, you did say
he could put up the numbers.
The tapes are there.
Tapes are there, man. He could get on that reserve roster.
Yeah,
you know,
we got the receipts. Go back. First episode, Beals did say this. Will he get enough minutes? And I said, I don't know if there's enough minutes for him.
Right now, it's looking like
I was wrong.
Good.
I was wrong.
You know, it happens, man.
Siakam, game high tonight.
Doubt,
game high. Pascal Siakam, 23 points, career high for him as well. Sorry, he didn't have a game high. Game high went to Tim Hardaway Jr. But when he gets slapped like that, I don't think that really matters. Right?
It don't matter. It don't matter.
So
you're not Derrick Rose,
right?
It don't matter.
So Pascal Siakam, 23 points on 6 of 7 shooting.
Yeah,
3 of 4 from 3-point land.
There it is, man.
What?
Efficiency and consistency are key for the Raptors right now.
It's so
these guys
crazy.
Are playing with both, man, especially him, you know. So, sheesh.
It's super crazy what's going on with Pascal right now. And you mentioned the efficiency, right? And for both him and Serge, and even a guy like JV,
right?
We've seen their numbers go up, and a lot of that is offense, but I think a lot of that is also Kyle Lowry. Right. And just because he's putting these guys in positions to succeed,
right?
He's adapted to what Pascal's game is, which a lot of it is energy, and Pascal just doesn't stop. And Lowry now, every time he gets the ball, he's looking up to see if Pascal's going to hit him with that outlet pass. It's incredible to watch what these guys have done, and Pascal continues to evolve and add more things to his game.
Yep.
He was shooting the threes, but I think tonight was the first time that we saw him like 3 or 4. That's a legit night from 3-point land. If he continues to do that, can he, like, what's the ceiling?
There's no ceiling, man. There's no ceiling. There's no ceiling. There's no ceiling with this kid. He's balling.
Yeah.
Like, he's legit balling
so
right now, you know.
I said this on the last pod, and I want to get your thought, that I said my biggest takeaway from the West Coast road trip was that Siakam is the Raptors' 3rd most important player.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
100%. 100%.
It's because his skill set, right? He can do so many different things.
Yeah, he's our point forward right now.
Yeah.
He's our point forward. Even when Kyle Lowry's on the court, he's our point forward.
Yeah.
Right?
Things are going so well for the Toronto Raptors right now. And again, the way that this game played out, it was one of those things where, you know, maybe they win this game in past years, but they'd have to grind it out.
Exactly.
And this game was one of those games where I talk about it all the time, right? For people who are familiar with this podcast will know. One thing I'll always bring up is the fact that the Raptors bench is so good, it's better than some teams' starters.
Correct.
And I think when we go and you look at the Knicks roster here, and, you know, obviously the Knicks are in a down year. Kristaps is hurt, but their starting lineup of Noah Vonleh, what's this guy? Mitch Robinson, is that his name?
I never heard.
Or did I just make that up?
Mitchell
Robinson, good. I said Mitch, and I didn't say it confidently.
One of those guys.
Yo,
I would think their starting lineup would be, you know, Enes Kanter would be in there.
No, Kanter got moved to the bench.
Wow,
but the funny thing is, I said Mitch, and I'm like, I didn't say it confidently at all. I'm like, oh no, it is Mitch. Some dude named Damian Dotson, right? Like, this is the Knicks starting lineup. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Frankie Ntilikina. Right? And so when you look at the Raptors bench, as I mentioned already, Fred VanVleet, DeLon Wright, CJ Miles, OG, and Jonas.
That could be the Knicks starting 5 right there.
The Raptors bench is better than the Knicks starting lineup.
Our bench is better than at least 25 other teams in the league. That's a fact.
So this was a perfect game to see that, right?
Yeah.
And the starters came out kind of sluggish, but again, that's understandable. I'm not going to blame them for that. The bench mob, because really, OG's missed some time, DeLon's missed some time, Freddie missed some time, right? Yeah, but I mean, this was a really good game to like get these guys to. This was a really good game to get these guys some extended burn to get them feeling comfortable. And I think we finally saw the best game of DeLon Light. That's what I was about to say. DeLon Wright's season. DeLon Wright and OG off the bench were huge, but DeLon Wright, especially in the first half, he finished with 12 points. If you look at just this game, let's see, 4 starters in double figures.
Wow.
3 guys off the bench in double figures. That's
Wow.
7 people at double figures.
Amazing.
And then you have
Amazing.
Danny Green with 9. So the balanced attack of what this team does.
Balance and consistency, man. Balance and consistency with these guys. The main word is consistency for the Raptors. Has to be.
So
Because just the way they're playing from the season started, has just been very, very consistent.
let me ask you too, how important is it for something like this in this game where your bench can give you the extended minutes and your bench is able to give you the extended minutes, but also getting Kyle Lowry to only play 27 minutes. Kawhi only played 23
Yeah.
minutes. How important is it to kind of get these guys some rest during the season?
It's very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Like I said, Kyle Lowry is not a young guy. You know what I'm saying? His body, the wear and tear in his body is going to come very soon. So, if they can still win
Yeah.
and bring down his minutes,
Yeah.
that's very important.
Yeah.
Because as you see, as the season goes along, fatigue kicks in with him. That's naturally what it is. When you
sure.
get closer to April, fatigue kicks in with him and he struggles. So you want to get his minutes down and still win at the same time. So far, so good. It's working. And Kawhi, he's not 100%.
Yeah.
Obviously, right?
Yep.
So if you can get his minutes down as well and still win, it helps.
Someone in the chat also agrees with you and says Lowry got the rest we were looking for.
Exactly.
Right? Because we were talking about how all these games where Kawhi has been missing games, that's Kyle and others having to pick up the slack.
Yep.
And you kind of need these, to cheat some rest here and there. And we saw that with this game. So mentioned as well, again, those just joining us, 128-112, your Toronto Raptors defeat the New York Knicks on a matinee Saturday afternoon game,
big
128-112. Raptors improved to 12-1 on the season, and we mentioned, I think it's safe to say Pascal Siakam was our MVP or king of the
Yep.
court of this game. When he
That
goes
boy's
6 to
balling,
7,
man. He's balling.
that's good.
He's balling, man.
The X factor, though, I'm going to go to the bench and give it to OG.
Yeah.
And the reason being is, as much as we're seeing the evolution of Pascal's game, the same can be said for OG. I saw plays in this game where he's going dribble through the legs, step back, Jimmy in dude's mouthpiece. And I'm like, whoa, that in his game.
He developed a confident 1-2 dribble.
Yeah.
That's important in any players.
I also think it's cool for him to have this season under Kawhi because you can watch a guy like Kawhi who scores very easily, very
easily.
Jab, get some space, one dribble
Less
shot.
than 3 dribbles.
Yeah.
Less than 3 dribbles.
Remember those drills from high school, right? You're playing
Less than
one-on-one,
exactly,
3 dribble max,
3 dribbles,
right?
3 dribble max, man.
It's crazy to see, but OG was doing it all. He hit a 3 in this game. We saw him get the ball ISO on the wing, drive and get and 1 buckets, and he's like, it's great to see him do that. 16 points on 7 of 10 shooting. And the thing is, we're seeing confidence. And I'll give credit to Leo for bringing this up during the game, but he said with OG now on the bench, we're getting to see a lot more of his game because there's more free reign.
Exactly.
He can be kind of like the guy, for lack of a better term.
Like I said, it's confidence, just like you said, confidence, and I think maybe having a coach that's going to give you the free range with those guys, right? I think Nick Nurse, like we've said before on the podcast, Nick Nurse, listen, I'm sold, man. He's a good coach. He's a coach's coach.
Yeah.
He's a player's coach too. He knows.
Yeah.
He's an X and O's guy. He's very detailed. He pays attention to what the pros and the cons, the weaknesses and the strengths of each player and of the team in total. And it's working so far.
It's just his ability to make the adjustments on the fly. That's what I've been the most impressed with.
Yeah.
Just like to play the matchups of the game, right? And also, we talk about JV and Serge. They continue to do what they've done. Serge with 12 points, 5 of 11 shooting. We kind of maybe got spoiled from the run that Serge had when he was shooting perfect from the floor.
He's not gonna have a game like that in LA every night. It's not gonna happen.
But Serge still goes for 12 and 8.
Yeah.
And you look at JV's box score, JV with 19 and 10.
Wow.
Again, we're talking about the production of the bench where these guys are getting what? 21, what's that? 31 and what'd I say? 10 and 18. 31 and 18 from your starting fives.
Wow.
Now, when the Knicks are throwing out their fives of Robinson and Cantor, you're gonna dominate and win. When you win that matchup that effectively, the other team doesn't have a chance.
Nah, they don't have a chance at all. I don't even know who's on the Knicks bench other than Cantor. Like,
So they got Knox. I assume Knox, who's a
that's the
rookie, he's going to
right?
end up
Yeah,
starting at some point. He's
he has to
nice.
start. Yeah, he's nice.
I really think he'll be nice and he'll be a good player for them. Hazonia came off their bench. He showed flashes of being able to.
I like his game, man. He's got a nice little flow to his game.
Yeah.
His game is going to be good.
And they got Emmanuel Mudiay, who they got obviously
That's a kid
late
from
last
Denver,
year.
I think, right?
Yeah, they're trying to figure out what they have
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
at the point guard
Pieces.
spot. But this is a tank season for the Knicks, right?
Better
Like
be.
they're looking at Zion or they're looking at RJ or something like that, right?
They better hope to get Zion or RJ or someone because it's not looking good for them in the next couple of years. Even if the unicorn comes back.
As one of the most famous New Yorkers once said, "We don't believe you need more people. The Knicks
Exactly,
definitely need more people, right?"
Definitely. And I'm a low key Knicks fan. I like the Knicks. You know,
Yeah.
since the Spreewell days.
Well, I think the league's just a better place when the Knicks are relevant and good, right?
Exactly.
The NBA is just a better place, so I'm not mad at that at all. The last thing I want to talk about, because I just got a message from Webby, so we're definitely gonna try to hit
him
up
up.
Webby soon. But I see a message in the chat right now. My guy Colin Brown says Serge came up huge when everyone else was cold, and that's me saying that. That's because we have a lot of conversations about Serge taking terrible shots. And every day when I see him now, I'm like, dude, I've given up on the fact of like I'm expecting Serge to be good now. Like I'm not knocking him. I cannot say anything bad about Serge Ibaka.
He's showing it, man. He's showing it.
He really is, and it's what I know. This podcast, if we had a name for it, would be about consistency because that's just been it. Consistent minutes, consistency in terms of this is your role, what we need from you night after night. And those guys, I mean, not just those guys. I feel like this whole team is
the whole team is on board for what's happening right now.
Yeah,
you know, and like I said, it starts at Kyle Lowry.
Mm-hmm.
He has to lead.
The one key point, and we mentioned, of course, the theme of this game was the Raptors bench is just better than the Knicks starters,
100%.
and you'll see that theme play out. But this was the first game we got to see, I think, the bench mob just fully run another team out. And I know Freddie's numbers don't stand out, but when you watch the game and understand the game of basketball, the way that he was just getting everybody going, right? Getting them in good positions, bringing energy to the game. Because one of my friends was at the game, and I sent her a text message to be like, is like the crowd not there yet? Like it just sounded quiet. And that's just how like sluggish the game was early. And when the bench mob came in, they were just running. And again, to give Nick Nurse even more credit, what did Nick Nurse do? One of the things to start the second quarter with the bench mob, he had them pick up the defense full court.
Wow.
And what that does is it just speeds up the game. It's cheating a way to like get the energy up, right?
Pick up the pace. Let's move at our pace now. Let's dictate the pace of the game and how things are gonna go.
Right?
So
good. Let's switch gears a little bit here, and we're going to talk about, obviously, again, just to wrap up what happened on the Toronto Raptors game. Raptors win 128-112. Raptors improve to 12-1. The Knicks are trash. They should just pack it in and hope that they get
pack it in,
on
guys.
RJ.
Trade for John Wall.
Great game again for the Raptors. Pascal Siakam gets our MVP at 23 points on 6 of 7 shooting, 3 of 4 from the 3-point line.
Man.
Great game for the Raps. But there was big news that killed the NBA Twitter this morning. A shams bomb, as they say. Not a Woj bomb, but the protege.
He's dropping. He's dropping the breaking news now.
I can't speak English all of a sudden. The protege of Woj, Shams, tweets out early this morning that Jimmy Butler has been traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, the full deal is Jimmy Butler, Justin Patton to Philly for Robert Covington, Dario Saric, and a second-round pick. Now, there's a lot of things that were going on in Philly, obviously, as we've talked about the fact that there was drama from that crazy practice that happened earlier on. We know, obviously, Jimmy and the kids, in terms of Towns and Wiggins, weren't really seeing eye to eye. This whole saga was taking so long to play itself out, and it seemed like Tibbs was trying to just hope that once the season started,
it would all work out.
And that didn't happen. As Woj points out, that after a winless 5-game road trip that ended with the Sacramento loss on Friday night, Tom Thibodeau had come to the realization that the Wolves couldn't win with Butler in this dysfunctional environment, sources said.
Wow.
He told associates that Minnie wouldn't play another game with Butler.
Jeez.
So once that happened, the moves are out there.
And was forced, man.
I just want to get your take on the actual trade. Who do you think won the deal?
Well, we know who won the deal. Philly definitely won that deal.
Yeah.
For some reason, when I was like reading the trade, I thought Philly would have got rid of Markel Fultz.
Yeah.
I thought he would have been like a piece that people wanted. I guess.
And I don't think that's the case.
I don't
Fultz hasn't looked
guess
good.
yeah,
He has. I shouldn't say that. He has his moments.
Yeah,
right? He has his
yeah.
moments where he looks okay, but
Exactly.
not number one pick.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. I
right?
just thought they would have got rid of him. Too many guards, but man, Philly's the Raptors' number one threat now.
Oh, okay. That's how
100%.
you're ranking them.
They have to be.
That's
They're
where you're
the number
ranking
one
them.
threat.
Okay.
They have to be.
To me, it's an interesting trade because, of course, like I always live by the old adage that who if you get the best player in a deal, you win
Yeah,
the trade.
exactly.
Right? It's always that simple to me. I like Covington and I like Saric, but neither of those guys are stopping me from getting an all-star.
No.
Which is what makes the Miami thing so weird to me.
Right.
Because it came out that part of this whole holdup with the deal was that Minnesota was reluctant to make a trade within the Western Conference. They really were focused on trying to ship Jimmy to the East.
They're taking
So-
Popovich rules.
Exactly. They really wanted to send him to the East.
Yeah.
And so Miami pulled out because they didn't want to give up Richardson. Now, Richardson's okay, but again, he's not stopping me from getting an all-star. That makes no sense.
I would think they would take Justice Winslow over Richardson.
They didn't want to add. Maybe they wanted both, and they didn't want to give away both. That could be it.
They don't want to do the package.
Maybe, but again, those guys are not stopping me from getting an
Absolutely
all-star,
not.
right?
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Someone in the chat says, "Is OG better than Fultz?" Yes, I'd rather have OG than Markel
100%.
Fultz right now.
100%. That's
right?
obvious. That's obvious.
Like Masai doesn't even take that call. That call doesn't even make its way to Masai, right?
That's the email, guys. That calls the email. That's
right?
an email.
So it's crazy just to see what's happened with Philly. And now when you look at this team, are you worried about how Jimmy Butler might fit in with, like, he had trouble with the Young Bucks there, but he also had some tension in Chicago before that breakup happened. Are you worried about how he'll fit in with Simmons and Embiid?
No.
Not worried. You think basketball?
This is what Philly needs.
Okay.
This is what Philly needs.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard and read about Embiid and Simmons, this is the type of guy they want on their team. Some veteran, tough nosed leadership.
Yeah.
This is what I can see.
Okay.
I think he's gonna want to stay there long term if he's smart.
Well, it's already come out that, again, this from Woj, who said, could I find it here? Woj said that Jimmy Butler and the Sixers fully expect to reach a deal on a long-term contract this summer. League sources tell ESPN. Sixers made a deal with the plans to add Butler to a big three with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons.
Wow.
Philadelphia will be able to offer Butler a 5-year max worth about $190 million, regardless of their other salary / cap situation. Any other team is only able to offer 4 years, $141.
Wow.
So right now, barring anything crazy going on for the rest of the season, looks like this is a long-term move for Philly.
And he's playing in an easier conference. That's just the reality of it. So if I'm Jimmy Butler, I take the deal and he's not a young guy either. He's like 32 years old.
Yeah.
So he's a lot of injuries as well. So his career is on the down.
For sure.
It's not on the up.
No.
So if I were him, I would just take it and enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride mentoring this young Philly team.
Yeah.
'Cause they're a good team right now.
They kind of need that toughness. And I feel like if you go back to how hard fought that series was last year in the playoffs with them and the Celtics, was it? Yeah. They kind of needed that, like, tough guy that vet to kind of take the reins and settle things down when Simmons was struggling, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, super interested to see how that all plays out in Philly. And shout out to the people on Instagram, but I'm going to have to say goodbye to the Instagram people right now because I'm going to use this to try to call up my guy Andrew Webster right now.
Call him up.
So Instagram people, if you want to continue to watch this feed, go over to Twitter at Shell Alexander or Beals MTG.
Beals BTMG. I'm doing IG live as well, man.
So
go
there's
check
still
it
ways
out.
for you to listen. And I see the comments here. Milwaukee still scares me more than Philly, and Simmons is overrated. Oof. Some countering points there. But, you know, I'm going to try to get a hold of Andrew Webster right now. So apologies later, Instagram. Everybody else, stay tuned. We're still here. We're still talking ball.
Exactly.
And again, That's funny. Straight shunned on IG. Don't worry, you can listen to the rest
don't
of
worry.
it.
You
It'll
can
still
listen.
be
It's
out
still
there,
man.
right?
It's still
It'll still
there.
be there. I gotta call Webby and get his take because the man's live in Philly right now. What better thing to do than to call a man right at the scene of everything? And as always, as I like to say, we are the Ball on Blast podcast,
No
which is
doubt.
unpolished and later Instagram, unpolished and unapologetic, right? So we always got stuff on the go. We always got stuff on the move. We're always trying to do different things here, right? Trying to make
innovative,
things move.
innovative. Exactly.
Different ways to hit you with the goodness
Exactly.
of what we got, right? So let me see if I can get Webby up here on the line. Yes, we're calling him, and you can hear me calling him. So, Mr. Andrew Webster, you are live on the Wrap It Up podcast, my dude. How you doing?
How you guys doing?
We're good, brother. What's going on?
Hold on. Give me this.
Not too much.
Give me the scene right now. Where are you right now, Webby?
Right now we're in Fishtown in Philadelphia. I'm at my buddy's bachelor party. I'm actually being handed the blunt right now.
Keep it gangster. Keep it gangster.
We were just at hold on. We were just at a cheesesteak place a little earlier. Now we're drinking Miller Lite, celebrating the 76ers getting Jimmy Butler.
So let me know what was your first take as soon as you found out that this deal was official. What was your initial reaction?
So initial reaction was that's all we had to give up. Like I kept waiting for the second notification to come in and like, oh, Covington, Saric, a second rounder, and something else, but it never came. I mean, like to get Jimmy Butler for that, and then you get the notification that he wants to sign long term here.
Well, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
it is crazy, right? And that's the thing too, because we mentioned earlier that this deal didn't go through with the Heat because the Heat didn't really want to give up Richardson.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking
Right.
Richardson's not stopping me from getting an All-Star,
No,
and I feel the
no,
same way
shouldn't.
about Covington and Saric, right?
Exactly. Those guys were never going to be all-star players.
Right? So are you worried at all? And again, people just joining us now on the Wrap It Up podcast. We're joined by my co-host on the Ball on Blast podcast, which is my guy, Andrew Webster. Of course, Ball on Blast podcast is Friday mornings. Friday mornings, you can always catch it. It's released each and every Friday morning where we go across the entire NBA. But of course, in special circumstances, I got to call my guy Webby, who is a huge Sixers fan and who also happens to be in Philly.
In Philly. Dude, literally, I got the news. Get this. I got the news as we were driving past Bill Cosby's house.
Wow.
I don't even know. What am I supposed to say to that?
Wow.
That's the truth. That is the double truth, man. That
With the
actually
lights
happened.
on? With
That's
the
what
lights on?
Oh,
That,
man.
no. There was nobody home.
Wow.
Webby.
Jeez.
Yo, let me ask you something. Okay, so now you're bringing in a very, strong personality in Jimmy
Yep.
Butler. We know that Embiid is a very strong personality as well. Are you worried even a little bit about how the personalities might clash in the locker room?
I'm not, because you know what? Winning solves everything. And if he can come in and really and do what Jimmy Butler does, which is like give this team a really good defensive identity and as well fill up the hoop. Like if they go on a run with Jimmy Butler, I think everything's going to be fine. The only thing that I'd be worried about is that if they get off to a slow start, everybody's going to be in the media. Was this a good deal? But the thing is, it's like even if it doesn't turn out to be the best deal, like to get a player like Jimmy Butler and only have to give up Saric and Covington, it's still a success.
I totally agree. I think Elton Brand, this is obviously his first big move as GM in Philly.
E.
That's a
Jeez,
great first move,
that's
right?
A big
That's
move, man. That's
right?
a big move.
To me,
And that's what
you do this trade every day of the week, no? Like,
Yep.
I don't even hesitate to do
It's
that
not a
trade.
hesitation trade.
And that's what we were saying. I mean, for this to be Brand's first move, right, to like continue this process, like that's what the city wants to see.
Also, too, so now we know the Raptors. Raptors just demolished the Knicks. Raptors still sit
Dummied the
atop.
Knicks.
Yeah, dummy the Knicks. Still sit atop the Eastern Conference at 12-1. Now, we know that the Bucks beat the Golden State Warriors very recently. The Boston Celtics are struggling, but you still expect them to be there at the end, right? And now with this
Of
move
course.
in the Sixers, I'll start with Beals first. How do you rank the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference as of right now?
Side note.
Okay.
I like the Bucks, but I'm worried
Oh, okay.
because I think the Bucks only go as far as Giannis takes them.
True.
So if he gets hurt, where are they? Who's
Okay.
gonna pick up the slack?
Okay.
Middleton?
Yeah.
Is he that good to drop what Giannis is dropping every night? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I go Raptors, Philly, Milwaukee, and I'm gonna say Indiana.
Raptors. Hold on. Raptors, Philly, Milwaukee,
And Indiana.
and Indiana. Okay.
And then Indiana over Boston?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Wow.
Right now,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Right now, yeah. Right now, yeah. Because Boston has to get rid of somebody, bro. You
Yeah.
gotta maybe get rid of two players at least. There's no chemistry there. And you see the same thing that Kyrie Irving complained about that LeBron was doing in Cleveland. He's doing the same thing in Boston.
That's a good point.
He's doing the same thing in Boston.
It's interesting, and I mean, hey, I'm not one to pat myself on the back, but I'm gonna pat myself on the back
Do
here
it.
because I said there's too much ball to go around in Boston, and those young guys,
Yep.
Tatum and Brown, they in their minds, whether it's right or wrong, in their minds, they think they're better than Hayward.
Yep.
Right.
And he got the bag. He's a superstar. He's
Yep.
starting. This isn't gonna work.
Nah.
They're like, we got to the finals. We got to the conference finals last year. I don't know if that's going to work. But Webby, I'm going to ask you the same question I just asked Beals. Who, in your mind, rank me the top teams in the Eastern Conference right now?
Okay, so, yeah, Raptors number one. Sixers, I'm going to put number two. Just because adding that Butler piece in place of Saric and Covington is going to be such an upgrade.
Yeah.
And then I'll go Boston 3 and then Milwaukee 4. I just think that the Coach Stevens is, you know how much I respect Brad Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the coaching is going to show through this rough patch with the Celtics. I don't think this is going to be an all-year thing. I think if they're going to make a move, it's going to be sooner rather than later. And if they don't, I got my faith in Brad Stevens that they're still going to be a top 3 team in the East.
Okay. That's dope. I mean, to me right now, as I look at it, I think I got to give the number 2 spot to Philly as well. Obviously,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sticking with the Raptors at
Yeah,
1
yeah.
still. I'm going to give Philly the number 2 spot just because I think you're right. Jimmy Butler is a perfect fit for what a young team like the Sixers need. I'm just surprised it took them this long to make that move, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right? I thought they would have been more involved in the Kawhi sweepstakes, but we kind of know how that ended up playing out, where Pop wanted more of a vet coming back.
Yeah.
In terms of it, as opposed to younger players.
Yeah.
So this was a perfect move to me for Philly. I think they're a dangerous team. I think they're, you know, we might not see it in the regular season, but a playoff team, they are a nice looking playoff team because when it gets tough, that's Jimmy Butler's perfect for that, you know, when it breaks down and you need a defensive stop,
I
or you
think
need a bucket.
When the game gets slower, and
think-
you need something in the half
yeah.
court, he's like the guy you rely on.
I think Philly was kind of. I think they're kind of, you know, waiting to see how Markelle Fultz would look.
Yes.
I think that's why they never
think
pulled the
that's-
trigger. I think they're trying to
good
see how
point.
good he would look.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, he's not looking that good.
Yeah.
We gotta make a move now. Look how good the Raptors are playing. Look how good the Bucks are playing.
Yep.
Boston's
Yeah.
there. Indiana's there. You know.
Yeah,
Charlotte's
you got to
there,
keep pace.
Detroit.
They had to do something to keep pace.
Yeah.
As I go to the chat group here on Periscope, we got a comment here that says Jimmy has to be on his best behavior or it's a wrap, public perception wise.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Philly, Webby, correct me if I'm wrong. Philly's fan base doesn't care at all. Like, as long as they're winning, Philly's fan base doesn't care, right?
Look at AI.
Absolutely.
What's the mood like? I know there's a big game, a big
the
football
mood is
game
good.
this weekend, but what's the mood like?
Which I will be at. I will be at the Sunday Nighter. But the mood is good. Like, people were talking about on the streets. My buddy showed up from New York, and he came into town, and the first thing he said, he was like, yo, Jimmy Butler. I was like, how did you know about this? Because he's not even a big sports fan. He was like, yo, I heard people talking about it on the streets.
Wow. Word travels fast, man.
Word travels fast, and Philly is a great sports town. So much like we were talking earlier about, you know, it sucks seeing the Knicks so bad, but
yeah.
if the Knicks are even decent, it's great to see that. Philly's
great,
another
man.
one of those
Yeah.
teams where it's like when their team is relevant because they have such a passionate fan base,
Exactly.
it's great
Yeah.
to see. Webby, I'm gonna give you. I'll let you close out your take here, and then I'll let you get back to your bachelor party festivities. But overall, you're ecstatic with this move.
Yeah, really happy, and I'll leave you guys with a story. So last night I got into town and just saw my buddy and like a bunch of my friends, and one of my buddy's brother-in-law, he had the hottest take that I've ever heard.
Okay.
He said that he says that Markelle Fultz is going to be a better He said that Markelle Fultz is going to be a better pro than Ben Simmons will, and I had to like take a step back.
What? Okay, why?
Wow.
I had to take a step back, and he was like, because Markelle Fultz will eventually learn how to shoot. But I was like, I had to take a step. I had to take a sip of my drink. Even that one caught me a little. That one caught me out of the blue. I was like, yo, I know I'm in Philly when I'm hearing these hot takes.
Well, Webby, thanks for taking time and joining us, man. And of course, again, you can catch myself and Andrew Webster each and every week on the Ball on Blast podcast. It's under the exact same feed. So wherever you found this podcast, you can also find the Ball on Blast podcast as well with my guy, Andrew Webster. Webby, thank you for joining us from Philly and taking time away from the bachelor party. Appreciate you, fam.
Webby, peace, man.
Yo, it's all good, man. Yo, congratulations to the Raptors. You guys keep it up. These post-game shows are fucking awesome. Philly shows the love. We got listeners down here or worldwide here at Ball on Blast.
Hey. Later, my dude. Thanks, man.
Later, boys.
Peace.
That was awesome. That was pretty cool,
dope,
right?
man.
Get some on-site things.
He's got the energy down there, so, you know.
He's hype. And yeah, I'm just happy that worked because I wasn't really sure if that was going to work.
It worked,
but hey,
man. It worked. That's
unpolished and unapologetic. It's not just a slogan.
On the fly. We make
it's
it
real.
happen.
It's real, right? I'm like checking the audio, make sure the feed's still
everything's
working.
good.
I can hear
Make
them.
it
Cool.
happen.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And it was great too, sort of the timing, because I was like, oh man, Raptors are playing the Knicks. Whatever, they're going to wash the Knicks. This gave us something else to talk about. And, you know, there's more questions coming in here. This says, do you think the East is looking more competitive than the West right now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you look at the top teams in the East, and I know that especially when you go to the Western Conference, things might change because it's super easy and it's super early, and things might change, especially for a team like Houston. The Lakers are struggling.
Yeah.
But when you look at the Eastern Conference, and you're talking Toronto, Milwaukee, Philly, Boston, Indiana, and then you go to the West, and you're looking at right now the top four teams are Golden State, Portland, Denver, and the Thunder. I mean, the East, has the balance of power shifted back to the East?
Not yet, but competitiveness, it's there. The East has it right now.
Hold on. But here's the thing, though. If Golden State is still the best team in the league, I think it's safe to say the Raptors are the second best team in the league right now, right?
The Raptors are the best team in the league.
Woo! Okay.
The Raptors are the best team in the league.
Yes, by record, the Raptors are
fact.
okay, yes.
The Raptors are...
Hey. You see it here. I'm a Jay-Z guy. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The Raptors' record is 12-1. Golden State's record is 10-2. So, hey, I agree with you. I understand what you're saying.
Raptors are the best team in the league right now. It's there, man.
So, but I'm saying by perception, if you say Golden State is the top team, the Raptors are second, I'm still going to slot, like, even if you say Houston right now, maybe they figure it out, but I don't think...
Are we putting the Raptors over Houston?
This is what I'm saying. I don't think Houston's as good as they were last year. I really don't. And they might figure it out. They'll still make the playoffs. I'm not worried about that. But I don't think they're as strong of a team to challenge Golden State as much as they did last year.
No, because there's no Trevor Ariza.
They need those guys. They need those glue guys.
They need him.
They need him.
They need him. They need him. Because like we discussed, if Chris Paul's healthy, we get a Houston Cleveland finals.
True.
100%. Everyone knows this.
Okay.
Right? But he wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
Right? And I think their mistake was they let go of Trevor Ariza. I don't know why.
I mean, it is super interesting, too, because if you think of the Houston Rockets team, it is a blow that they didn't get Jimmy Butler either, right? And it kind of, when you think back to how that story leaked a couple weeks ago, but what was it, the 4 first-round picks?
Yeah.
You can kind of tell that they leaked that out there to try to get the public perception to be like, what? You guys are turning down 4 first-round picks? They were desperately trying to get Jimmy Butler, right?
They got Melo. You're only going to get offense out of Melo. You're only going to get offense out of Melo.
They got Melo.
I love Melo.
I feel bad for Melo, man.
You're only going to get... You know what? I feel bad for Melo. I used to feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him no more, though.
He got the bag. Yeah,
he got the bag.
Yeah, life's not bad for Melo.
He's a champion. He's an NCAA champion.
Yeah,
I don't think an NBA championship matters to him.
Yeah,
I don't think it does.
I mean, I think it's tough. It's tough.
It's tough with him, man. It's tough.
It's bad because he needs to realize what his role is, right?
Exactly.
And he settles into a team like Houston, and I don't know. I like the Raptors over Houston right now. I really, really do,
I like
because
the
I don't
Raptors
think
over everyone. Raptors are.
I like where
those
your
boys are
energy's at
hooping.
right
Those
now.
boys are hooping.
I like where your energy's
Those
at
boys
right
are
now.
hooping, man.
So hold on. You like the Raptors against anybody? Anybody?
Anybody.
Okay.
Anybody right now.
Okay.
Because
Raptors
we
fans,
have-
hit us up. Let us know. I want to hear what the
have
people
it.
are saying. Do you agree? The Raptors, like, you don't fear anybody right now.
Nah. Why should they? Why should they? They should be going to every game looking to get the W. A lot of confidence.
The real talk is too that the Raptors look at home like they can beat anybody. They moved to 7-0 at home this season.
Mm-hmm.
They're on a bit of a little homestand here where their next couple games, I think they played 3 straight games at home. Let me just bring up the schedule here. But I think they play 3 straight games at home before they get a big time matchup next Friday with Boston.
see.
But a look at the Raptors' schedule here. They got New Orleans, home to New Orleans on Monday, home to the Pistons on Wednesday. Dwayne Casey's return back to Toronto. And wrap up the week with a back-to-back at Boston and at Chicago next week. Obviously, we'll save a lot of the look ahead to the Boston Celtics game for a bit.
We'll save a little bit of it.
But, a little bit of a homestand for the Raptors. And why is that so important? Because as the statistics show, your Toronto Raptors, kids, have now won 41 of their last 48 games at home. Again, Raptors have now won 41 of their last 48 games at home.
They're balling.
That's a sign of a good team. You take care of your home court. The Raptors do that and more.
Yep.
I mean, another great showing for the Toronto Raptors. And even with this big-time move, do you think there's pressure on the rest of the East to kind of, like, I'll start with the Raptors first, but do you think there's pressure on them or anyone else to make a move now to react to what Philly just did, or Raptors are good?
Raptors are the cream of the crop right now in the Eastern
Okay.
Conference. So I think that's how it goes year to year. And I think this is what happened when LeBron was in the East. I think teams looked at it like, okay, LeBron's there. He's going to go for 1.
Yeah.
Other teams are like, okay, let's go for 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on.
Okay.
Right? But then I think LeBron looked at it. Teams are getting better.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be 1. I need to be top 4.
Yeah.
I need to be top 4. And it worked for him. That
Yeah.
mentality worked for him.
Yeah.
The same mentality he had, teams had against him.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't need to be number 1 in the conference. I just need to be in the top 4,
That is crazy.
which is insane.
It is crazy.
It worked. It worked
Yeah.
for him, right? So
I don't know, though. I'm thinking that, with the way that these teams all shape up, yes, I think the Raptors are the best, but I don't know if it's that clear cut to where I don't have to worry about home court. And I think coming in first is going to matter a lot because
it's
you
good.
want.
It's gonna matter a lot. I just think they have first on lock. I just don't think.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
It's kind of like what Webby said. Unless Boston does some significant changes or they work in that rotation healthy, then we have some competition. Philly as well.
Yeah.
But I still think the Raptors, unless some serious injury happens, knock on wood, and nothing happens, I still think the Raptors have a lock on the first place.
You know what, too? The way the Raptors team is built with their depth really helps them throughout the regular season because you have games
Exactly.
like this where your bench can pick up the slack, give your
Exactly.
starters a bit of a rest in a game like this, whereas other teams will have to rely on their starters for wins all the time. The Raptors can still be 12-1 on the season because games like this or a game in Sacramento, which most teams, hey, you might lose that game and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The Raptors are still going into those games and getting wins. But yes, again,
Big wins.
big wins. Again, to wrap things up on the Wrap It Up podcast, your Toronto Raptors with the 128-112 victory over the New York Knicks to improve to 12-1 on the season. The high man for your Toronto Raptors is your boy, Pascal Siakam,
Spicy.
who continues to do it. Pascal Siakam, 23 points on 7 shots.
Nasty.
That's what the Raptors are on right now.
Nasty.
But as we continue, Beals,
That's good.
where can the people find you? Tell us what's going on with the career.
Yes,
if you
sir.
can give
Yes,
us any
sir.
updates
Yes,
yet,
sir.
I'm asking you that because, but if you
know,
can't, that's cool.
a lot
But
is going
let us
on.
know what's going
No
on.
doubt, a lot
what
is
can be
going
made
on.
public at the moment? I'll say that.
Shoot,
I didn't
man.
mean to put you on the
Nah,
spot
it's all
like that.
good. A lot is going on. Get
Yeah.
ready to drop a new project called The Blessing in December.
Okay.
Thank you to everyone who supported the God Talk video from
Mm-hmm.
Cocaine Noir. It's up to 10K views and growing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot.
Check that out on
yeah,
YouTube.
man.
Go right now. Tell the
know-
people where can they find it. What's it called?
This video is called God Talk, Cocaine Noir, myself and William Satire. 10K. The Ball on Blast is doing 10K. We're doing 10K. The team is 10K, you know?
Hey.
We just appreciate the love. You can catch me on Instagram at BillsBTMG, Twitter at BillsBTMG. And we're just going to keep dropping projects, man. You know, the music is doing very well. I appreciate all the support, man. It means a lot. It means a lot. Thank you.
Hey, whole squad's elevating higher, right?
doubt,
So
no doubt.
we all got no choice but to continue grinding, continue moving upward.
sir, yes,
I love
sir.
it. I like hearing that. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at Shell Alexander and on Instagram at Sheldon Alexander. And thank you for joining us on the Wrap It Up podcast again. For all the people, if you didn't watch this live, this can find this and the Ball on Blast podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, meaning iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and a special shout out to the YouTube community. The comments are on fire in the YouTube,
for sure.
on the YouTube page.
For
so
sure.
keep that going. Raptors fans are hype, and with reason. If you're ever looking for the videos, you want to see the videos on YouTube, just search Wrap It Up on Blast. Everything will pop up there. Like and subscribe. As I said, we had a great week on the podcast, everything totaling over 10,000 views just on YouTube alone.
Yep.
So, and that doesn't include numbers on SoundCloud and iTunes and all that. So, the Raptors fans are definitely hype, and we appreciate you letting us into your conversation about the Toronto Raptors, because that's what this is about.
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't, guys. We're the Hove.
Raptors are 12-1. Those numbers definitely don't lie.
No doubt.
So we want to thank you guys, and we'll just continue to have this outlet of a conversation for
man,
Raptors fans.
For sure.
After each and every Raptor game, we'll be right here, because as a wise man once said, I really did used to pray for times like this to rhyme like this.
Yes,
This
indeed.
is the Wrap It Up Ball on Blast Raps post game show. As always, unpolished and unapologetic. Until next time, see ya.
Peace.
On blast.